However, the porch is a dumpster. How outlandish are we going to get with the time travel aspect? Hi guys, welcome back to another vlog. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. I'm a librarian and artist, and I like to make content about my many hobbies. If the light changes, the sun is doing something very strange outside. So apologies for that. It may not be perfect, but I thought we would do another one of these weekly vlogs, or I'm going to try to anyway. I had a very stressful few weeks, and I saw the end of all that stress happen at the end of last week. Today's Monday. So I thought it would be a really good time to do a vlog because I'm trying to be a little bit easy on myself this week. I feel like I'm mentally and physically recovering. For those who may not know, I have a chronic illness, and so when I get stressed or when I have stuff going on, it affects my body in a way that is a little bit more severe than it might for somebody else. So yeah, physically recovering, definitely mentally recovering. And I just want to go easy on myself. So I do have to work this week, boo. But like I said, I only work part-time. So I do have time this week to do some more fun, creative stuff. I'm also going to be taking you guys with me to Dundee tomorrow. So the plan for today, well, actually, I think the plan has changed a little bit. We're going to see how this goes. I do desperately want to clean my studio. So I have a studio in my house. It's just a spare bedroom that my husband and I kind of use. I use it as a studio. He does have his computer in there, so I guess technically it's his office, but he generally only uses that computer to game. Because he has a work computer, like laptop, that he uses at the kitchen counter. So I don't, it's technically his office too, but it's my studio. So we recently got my son his big boy bed. I have a 3-year-old. And we were very late in getting this big boy bed put together. It's been sitting in our porch for ages, but we finally did it. Well, I didn't. My husband did it. I didn't put it together. That was all him. So his crib is just sitting in my studio. We're trying to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. No luck so far, but we'll give it a few more weeks before we consider taking it to the charity shop. But for now, it's sitting in my studio, this beautiful vintage crib that we got secondhand off Facebook Marketplace. But I need it out of my studio because I can't use anything. The studio is not big. Like I said, it's a spare bedroom. We live in a very small house. We're lucky to have a house at all, but we live in a very small house, and it is a room that we share for work for my husband, work for me. And I need this crib out. So I need to put the crib in the porch. However, the porch is a dumpster ground right now. Like, we have just dumped stuff. If you have young kids, especially in kind of this phase, you'll know that like you accumulate a lot of stuff because you need it just in case. We have 2 I guess strollers or pushchairs, whatever you want to call them. So we have his main one, and then we got a travel one for when we went to Canada. But since he's grown up, because we went to Canada ages ago now, he doesn't really like it, but we still have it just in case. We also have a car seat because even though we don't own a car, we might need to take a taxi somewhere. My in-laws own a car, so we have a car seat just in case. We've got all of this quite large equipment. I also have some gardening stuff that can either go in the greenhouse or is probably past its due, so it can go in the garden waste bin. It needs cleaned out. There needs to be space for this crib to go in. It is in parts, so I can just lean against the wall. But it needs to come out of my studio so that I can use my studio. So that's the big thing. I was going to do some other stuff this afternoon. It is shockingly sunny. shockingly sunny outside. I thought it was going to be gross. That being said, it is also very windy. So depending on how the weather treats the day, we might do a reading sesh outside because I am tantalizingly close to the end of one of my library books that I took out. Yeah, if the wind dies down and it stays sunny, we might do an outdoor reading sesh this afternoon because why not? You know, why not? Other than that, what else do I have to show you guys? Oh, so I finished my last knitting project. I need to show you guys my last knitting project. And I need to start something else. I was in the middle of a cross stitch and then I got like overtaken by knitting. So I might go back to that cross stitch. I'm kind of looking at it. It's in my basket over here. I've got like a basket of hobbies that's just sitting in the living room so that I have stuff. Like I've got a coloring book, markers, my cross stitch, and then a scrap quilt, like stuff for a scrap quilt top that I'm making. And it's just in this basket. And I was thinking, you know, I might focus on my cross stitch and or my sewing that quilt top a little bit. We'll see how things go. I'm definitely in that mindset, that like period where I'm like, there's so many things I want to do. So like, how do I pick? There's so many hobbies. I want to try to start drawing again. I've got some ideas, maybe do some paintings and stuff like that. I think maybe I'll wait a few weeks because I am going to have, in about 3 weeks, I'm going to have some changes to my work schedule. And so I might just wait till that's kind of done before I like haul out the paints and stuff, because that is a little bit more messy and time consuming. But yeah, I think I might get to work on the cross stitch that I haven't worked on in, I think it's been over a year. I've been knitting a lot, but I can't remember the last time I worked on it. Anyway, the first thing we need to do is clear out this porch. We'll see how we go. I think that's probably the best way to do it. I'm going to stick on a YouTube video and try and sort through the porch. You're going to have to excuse my very imperfect house, but this is the door to the porch. You can't actually see the mess from where you're standing. Too bad. You can kind of see that there's like stuff down here. But it doesn't look as bad as the reality. But I'll probably time lapse this. I am gonna, hello puppy. My dog is here too. So, oh, sorry, knocking the tripod. So yeah, you'll see as I bring stuff out, just how much is in there. But we're gonna clean it out and we're gonna make, sorry about that. We're gonna make space down for everything and hopefully get some semblance of organization. So cue the time lapse. So this is one of the knitting projects I finished over winter, and it's the Sophie hood by Petite Knit. I don't think I ever took pictures in it for Instagram, but it's so cute. In classic fashion, I finished it just as spring was really getting into gear, but it's ready for next year and it's great. I do recommend the pattern, although I will say in my experience, and this is not everybody's opinion, but in my experience, Petite Knit's patterns, while they're great and they're cute, not the easiest to read. Luckily, I had a friend who was also knitting this, so I got to ask her some questions. And in the past, I have emailed Petite Knit if I've needed help with any pattern reading, and they've always been really, really helpful. But yeah, patterns are not the easiest to read. This is also why I love cleaning out spaces. So I got rid of my gym membership recently just because I wanted to save some money. And I knew we had weights in the house, but I didn't know where. And I found them. But I also because I've been doing a lot of gardening because it's spring, almost summer. Noticed that I was running out of labels for my seeds and my plants. And I was like, I'm gonna have to try and find new labels. And I went to the dollar store because you can use popsicle sticks, but they didn't have any popsicle sticks. Wouldn't you know, I do. I have popsicle sticks, a whole huge pack of them. So those are going in the greenhouse because that's great. That is great. And yeah, if you are gardening can very quickly turn into a very, Gardening can really quickly turn into a very expensive hobby, especially if you do have outdoor space like we are lucky enough to do. But that, you know, outdoor space also requires like landscaping and stuff like that. And so if there's any way to save money, do it. I was actually thinking of making a video, or what is my cat doing? This house is chaos. Scout, stop it, please. I was thinking of making like a video or like a short or something on money saving tips for gardening, because I learned to garden from my mother-in-law, who grew up with, you know, not very much privilege at all and not very much money at all. And when she had my husband and his sister, you know, they grew up with not very much at all because both my in-laws were teachers. And so they didn't have very much money. And so she gardened in the most like money conscious way she could, using things that she already had. And that's how she taught me to garden when we moved into this house. So I was thinking I might make a video or something. Let me know if you'd be interested in a video or a short, what would be better for you guys, or the other short form video app. What you guys would prefer, because I would love to do that. I think that gardening is great. It's an act of resistance. You can make your own food, and food is so expensive, especially in North America at the moment. I know because my mom is still in Canada and the food is astronomical. And you can make your own, and there are really cheap ways of doing it. So let me know if you'd be interested. But I love finding stuff like that because now I don't have to go buy more. That's awesome. That is great. I'm sweating, and I feel like you can tell. I feel like it's palpable that I'm sweating, but we did it. We did it. It probably doesn't look any better to you, but it is much better. I can actually walk in now, which is nice. And the crib is out of the studio. Got a couple other things out of the studio. I do have quite a lot of boxes in there that I don't really need. I was keeping them for selling stuff on Vinted, but I haven't really needed them, so I might get rid of a few. We'll see. But yeah, the big job is done. I feel much better. I am tired. I am hot. I am sweating. All on course for me, to be fair. That got done faster than I anticipated. So it's almost, but not quite, 12. So I'm kind of like, well, what do I do now? Okay, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of chores, and then I'm gonna sit down and read. And I'll make lunch soon. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. And I'm gonna try and chill out. Like I said, I anticipated that taking a lot longer. The one thing that I thought was in the porch that is not, because I've just looked through it, is our yoga mat, like our exercise mat. There's a few places that could be. So I'll have to have a look for that. And there's a few things I do want to get out of the studio and put somewhere else in the house. So I think I'll do those small things, and then I'll sit and I'll relax and I'll read my book and I'll have lunch. We're just gonna go on because the vibes are good. The vibes are good. We don't want to push it so hard that I ruin myself for tomorrow because when I'm feeling good and I overdo it, that's what I do. But yeah, I'm proud. I'm happy. I'm so happy that's done. It's gonna be good. Hello. It's a few days later now, and I can't believe that I'm showing you my haircut just post-shower. It was all nicely styled and everything, but I am post-shower. It's the weekend. It was a crazy, busy, exhausting end to the week. I think for the last 3 nights, I was in bed by 7 and asleep by 8 or 9, which is it's a good thing, but usually I'm up till about 10. There was one night I fell asleep at 7. I went to bed and couldn't keep my eyes open. So I just completely fell asleep. But I wanted to wrap this vlog up. We are at the end now, and I thought we would do that by doing some book chat because we haven't sat and chatted about books for a while. And I finished a book this week and I started a new one. So I thought just let you guys see that. So the first book I don't have on me anymore because it was a library book. And that was Judge Stone. So this is a book co-written between Viola Davis and James Patterson. I'm not usually a James Patterson reader. I of course know of him because he writes I don't know, like 50 books a year. And my parents used to read James Patterson, so his books were floating about my house growing up. But I had never read a James Patterson before, and to be totally honest, I only picked this one up because of Viola Davis. I love her. I think she's an incredible actress. I think she's very funny. And I was listening to a podcast that she was on recently where she was promoting the book because it came out really recently. And she described it as a modern day To Kill a Mockingbird, which immediately piqued my interest because I loved To Kill a Mockingbird growing up. I loved it. So I immediately was like, yep, I want to see this. I want to see where this goes. So I got it out from my local library. It came surprisingly quick considering there was such a long line for it, but I think we got extra copies. And it was good. It wasn't like my favorite book of all time. It's not To Kill a Mockingbird, but it was very good. It's about this, I would say probably the main character is Mary Stone, the judge, and she's a Black court judge, not Supreme Court, there's a word for it and I'm completely forgetting it, but she's basically like the main judge in her region. And obviously because she's a Black woman, she's had to work really hard to get up that far in her career. I think it's in the story that she's like the first one of her family to even go to university or college or higher education. And she's this incredibly well-respected judge. And a case gets brought to her court that's an abortion case. None of this is spoilers. This is like literally the entire story. It's on the back. It's on the blurb. So she gets this abortion case of a 13-year-old girl. And instead of the case being about the way this very, very young girl became pregnant, the entire case is about convicting the doctor who did the abortion. And you're in small town, I want to say Alabama. Is it Arkansas? I think it's Alabama. And there's some very big racial tensions. This is modern day, so it hits on the nose for a lot of issues that we currently see in the news. I mean, Trump is not name dropped, but there's definitely like some good inferences to a political system that is quite corrupt and favors particular people. So it was really good. It was a fast read. It's obviously emotional. Based on the synopsis, there are trigger warnings, so I would be careful of that. Maybe look those up before you decide to pick it up. But it was good, and I did finish it quite quickly. So I enjoyed reading that, and then I started, and I think you guys are going to be excited about this one, Yesteryear. This has been everywhere. This has been all over my social media, and I gave in. I found a copy that was on sale, and so I decided to buy it against my will, okay? Because I was not for this. If you somehow are on the side of the internet that is not talking about this book is about a woman who is an influencer and lives on this big, beautiful farm and has a ton of kids and, makes everything is homemade and everything is chemical free, dye free, that whole thing. A certain way of life, a certain old traditional way of life. She's a trad wife, basically. She's a trad wife influencer. But what her followers don't know is that behind the scenes, she's got all this help. She's got like a producer, she's got cameramen, she's got 2 or 3 nannies, she's got farm hands. Like, she and her husband do not do it all, right? But they put that image online, that they do it all. And they have somehow mastered this way of life. Nobody also knows that, like, her husband's family is actually very rich. That was how they got the farm in the first place, is that she married into money and they could afford to just buy a farm. And she wakes up one day and she's in 1855. She's still on the same farm, but it's the year 1855. She's got, I think, 4 kids and a husband, but there's no one else. And it's 1855, so there's no washing machine, there's no dishwasher, there's no dryer, there's no microwave. And so you actually have to do everything yourself, and it's about that. I am only about 150 pages in so far. Yeah, 150 pages, and it's like just shy of 400 pages. So I'm not quite halfway through, and it's good. I am going to be honest. So at the point that I'm at. This is not a spoiler. It has not yet been explained how she ended up in the year 1855. She's got guesses, she has assumptions, she has things that she thinks may be the case, but it has not been confirmed. Whatever that turns out to be could be a sticking point for me. Because going into this book, I was kind of already skeptical, and then in the story, quite early on, she just wakes up in this world. And like I said, as of yet, we don't know how or why. Well, we know why, but we don't know how. And I feel like that could be a make or break moment for me in this book. Because how outlandish are we going to get with the time travel aspect of this book is my question. So, and I don't generally have a problem with time travel. I mean, this was over 10 years ago now, but I famously loved the Outlander series, which is just this woman going back and forth in time in like 7 books. So like, I don't inherently have an issue with it, but I don't know how it fits into such a modern story. At least with Outlander, it had the kind of myths of the stone circles, which is a genuine thing in Scottish and Celtic history, in mythology and lore. Whereas like with this, I don't know how this is going to fit in, especially because she does just wake up one day. I would say so far, just as a little warning for women like myself, there is a storyline that's teetering on pregnancy loss, or certainly maybe not a storyline, because in one world, in one time frame, she's pregnant, and in the other time frame, she's not. And obviously, because she doesn't know what's happening or what's going on, that freaks her out. The emotions of pregnancy loss are there. As far as we know, she hasn't actually lost a baby, but the kind of emotional aspect of it, she is going through it. So I do just want to warn people of that, because that is, I'm okay with it now, but like 3 years ago, that may have bothered me. So I want to put that out there for anybody who may see this on social media and go, "Oh, that sounds really interesting," and then be taken aback by that time frame. Like I said, as of right now, she hasn't lost a baby, not that we know of, but she is kind of going through some similar emotions, and she's clearly very freaked out because she was pregnant. So yeah, 150 pages in, I'm enjoying it. I will finish it. But this time travel thing could be a make or break for me, because I'm just, yeah. It's interesting. Oh, also there's a lot, because she is, questionably, but she is Christian. So there's a lot about God and the Bible and stuff. So if you're not into that, it's in there. But yeah, I'm liking it so far. I love this cover. I have to say, both the UK cover, and the US covers knocked it out of the park. I think they're beautiful. I slightly prefer the UK, but they're both great. And then the next book I'm going to be reading, because I would like to finish this over the next few days, so you probably might see it in my next vlog, is Project Hail Mary. And I just need to have a minute before I sign off this vlog to fangirl a little bit, because I have not immediately loved a film the way I loved Project Hail Mary. I mean, maybe since I was a teenager. I'm upset. Well, I really loved Amelie when I saw that in my 20s. But I'm obsessed with Project Hail Mary, and that is unusual. I want to say I'm not a space girl, but I do like space movies. I've always really liked Alien. That's one of my favorite movies, is the original Alien with Sigourney Weaver. I love that film. But yeah, I've always really loved Alien. I'm trying and starting to get into the Star Wars films. So that could be a new obsession pretty soon. But I must have been about 2 weeks ago now, to see Project Hail Mary with one of my very good friends from work. And I laughed, I cried, I was in awe, I was on the edge of my seat. I felt every single emotion in that film. I cried like 3 times, and I just couldn't, thinking about it now, I'm actually struggling for words. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. I've been so disappointed with the general film industry lately, just because I feel like there's no creativity at the moment. Like, everything is like a sequel, or it's a remake, or it's a live action, or an animated version. Like, we're not coming up with anything original. And Project Hail Mary obviously was a book, like many films, it's a book first and then it gets turned into a film, or it's a play, or it's a whatever. I loved it so much, so much. I actually saw like a Project Hail Mary t-shirt online that I am actively trying not to buy. Because I just want to fangirl. That's the way it makes me feel. I just want to like put the posters up on my wall and wear the t-shirt and talk about Project Hail Mary with other people. But I've never read the book. So I immediately came home from the film and ordered the book. So that is the next book I'm going to read. Even though I've got a mountain of library books waiting for me, they're just going to have to wait. Perks of being the librarian is that I can kind of mess with the system. They're just going to have to wait because I need to read Project Hail Mary. I need to be back in that world. And people have said, like, they're obviously, it's a really good adaptation, but there's stuff they left out because you can't adapt a book for word without it being like 10 hours long. So yeah, so I'm going to be reading that next. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I just loved that film. I don't have like a Letterboxd or anything like that anymore. But if I did, immediate top 4. Immediate top 4. Easy. Easy. I loved it. One of my favorite films of all time. So I will be getting that on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever when it comes out. And I am still contemplating the t-shirt because I love it. And I just want to fangirl. And also, I liked Ryan Gosling before. I love him now. He's one of, if not my husband's favorite actor, like modern day actor. My husband's favorite film is Drive. And he's always really loved Blade Runner. And he showed me Blade Runner. And I loved the original Blade Runner. The new one with Ryan Gosling, I have my problems with, but it's still good. I just think it's so long. It was too long. They could have cut so much. Anyway, tangent. But I liked Ryan Gosling. My husband has always loved Ryan Gosling. And I didn't get the obsession that other people, my husband included, seem to have until I saw this film. He's emotional. He's funny. I mean, he's always been funny. He could do anything. I now want to watch his entire filmography. I now want to I just love it. I think about it all the time. The friend that I went to see the film with, like I said, she's a work friend, so we see each other every week. And quietly, because it's probably not a massively appropriate thing to say in front of customers, we kind of look at each other and we go, fist my bump, which you get if you've seen the film. It's just so good. It's so good. And if you haven't seen it, please see it at some point. You don't have to go to the theater. You can wait till it comes out on streaming or borrow it from a friend or find the DVD secondhand or whatever. There's so many ways to see films now. And I'm increasingly getting more into physical media, but please go and see somewhere, somehow, Project Hail Mary, because it's so good. So that is the books that have been and the books that are going to be. As of right now, it's the weekend. I am tired. I feel like you can probably see that I'm very tired, but that's okay. I had a bad night with my blood sugars last night, so I'm kind of paying for that now, where I have a very bad headache. And I'm exhausted because I felt like I haven't slept because my body's not been working very well. So I am going to end this vlog here. Unfortunately, we didn't get to many crafts. Yeah, this week just right by me. Completely right by me. And I did prioritize reading this week, if I'm being completely honest. I did prioritize reading and I scrolled a little bit more than I would like to admit. So hopefully we can get some crafts going. But for now, I'm going to end this vlog here. I'm going to fold some laundry. I'm going to finish my lovely, lovely coffee. I'm so happy that you guys spent this time with me. This is great. I am really enjoying myself. I do still feel a little bit like Bambi. I still kind of feel like I'm finding my feet, especially doing it with like a child who I don't want on camera and a job and everything, but we are getting there, and it's just been such an enjoyable experience to come back and make content and have that creative outlet again. So thank you so much for spending time with me. I will see you next week in another video. I do have plans for some upcoming videos, so stay tuned for that. If you're not already, please do subscribe and find me in my other places on the internet. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok if you're interested in that, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great week, you guys. Bye.